Hey everybody, it's Mike. Just checking in with the message for the day. Today is the Labor Day, and today's been interesting so far. I got a message while I was scrolling through all my feeds and stuff this morning. Same song started popping up today, which was "Living on a Prayer" from Bon Jovi, and man, what a good song! I remember being younger back in my party time days when I was my college age years. I'm a little bit older than that, and being a bartender and being at the bar, and then that song would come on, they'd crank it up, and everybody would just go absolutely nuts, and I'll start singing it and screaming it and everything, and it just was amazing. So. But today the song means a little bit different stuff to me because of how connected I am with God now, and living on a prayer literally means living on a prayer to some people. Um, and I had the privilege to meet with a lady that I was introduced to from a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, also named Mike. And this lady's named Sherry, and she um, was referred to me because she was really down. She was really depressed. She ran into my other buddy Mike at his church, and she was just talking about possibly hurting herself and just being just really down in the dumps and depressed. And she lost her job and lost everything. And Mike said that she should talk to me. So I started texting with her. We texted back and forth for a while, and that's pretty much what we did. Is we just texted each other. Turns out that she is homeless. She lives in a van now. She started when she went homeless the first time. She started living in a pickup truck that she kind of got given to her. It was an old pickup truck, but that it really wasn't enough room for her because she'd have to lay down and put her legs out the window of the pickup truck. Um, but I got to meet her today for the first time, and we had some coffee together at a local coffee shop. She didn't want coffee; she just wanted water. So, we got her a bottle of water and a sandwich to eat. And it was just amazing to meet a person like that, and to see where they came from with all of their problems, and yet to see how nice of a person they were. When they had their own house, they went through a lot of relationship problems with some people in their own personal relationships, and there were some money issues with some power and control issues, and but she had a daycare that she had in home, had neighborhood kids that were gang members that would come to her house to hang out because she would be the one to provide them with food and safe place to stay and play video games and just have a safe place to be where they didn't have to worry about violence and everything. And she actually had kids from rival gangs coming into her house together and hanging out together. So like the Bloods and the Crips would actually be in her house together hanging out. But that's how nice of a lady she was. She would make food for them because, those kids, and I can tell you this from being a juvenile probation officer, those kids, where do you think they learn their behavior from? They learn it from their parents. Their parents are using drugs, their parents aren't making them food, their parents aren't providing for them, so they're forced to go out and find their own place to have safety and have their own needs met. And it's unfortunate, but that's what happens a lot of times with these parents out there that really shouldn't be parents. But this lady stepped up and took care of them. And even after all that was said and done, she wound up losing her house um, and having to live in a truck. And this was all like during COVID, when COVID started back in 2020. She went down to stay with her sister in Florida, was living in her house with her sister. But then her sister eventually kicked her out because she was like going to the beaches when the beaches were closed, and she would like get in the water and stuff to try to wash herself off and everything, because she was trying to be independent, she was trying to do her own thing. But her sister was like, look, we can't have you here going out in the world. You're going to come in and you're going to give us COVID and all this stuff. So then she wound up coming back out this way. I think she has a newer van now, but she owes like something like $19,000 on it or whatever. But when she called me the first time, she had lost her job. She had no income at all. She was falling behind on everything, with her cell phones and what other bills she has. She has some small bills, insurance and things like that for the car that she has to pay. And it was enlightening to me because I got to learn some things today that I didn't know. Like when you're homeless, where do you get your mail delivered to? Well, she has like a place that has a mailbox store where you use their address and then you get a mailbox in that store, and that's where you get your mail sent to. You can't, because PO boxes don't take all kinds of mail. They only take certain kinds of mail, PO boxes. So I learned that today. I didn't know that, but just learned a lot of other things about her and her situation, and just sat down and listened to what she wants to do. And she would like to eventually open up her own daycare center, maybe have a bunch of different centers that are Christian based, where the people there teach values, and it's all based on Christian principles and based on God. And so she's trying to do the right thing, and she has this drive and she has this motivation and she has this job. She hasn't filed taxes in a few years, and she normally gets money back in taxes. So it's funny, I'm getting ready to go meet my accountant tomorrow because I got to get my taxes done. And I have because I had some issues come up and had to file for an extension, which is why I had to wait till Labor Day to get my stuff together. And I'm dreading it because who knows what I'm going to owe, because I always owe every time. But anyway, she did know probably for the last like 3 years that she hadn't done her taxes. So, she's owed money. So I'm going to see if my accountant maybe will make her a deal and let her like maybe file her taxes through him, and then maybe she can pay him after she gets her money or something like that, because she doesn't have the money, just to help her out because she's behind on her van payment now by like $1,000. She is working as a director of a daycare at a new place, making like $21 an hour. So she's trying her best, to do what she wants to do. She's had an incredible life story, just a story that's unimaginable with, being abused when she was younger. She was supposed to die when she was like 3 days old. And all throughout her childhood, doctors were brought in from other countries to look at her, and they couldn't figure her out, and they thought that she would, have all kinds of issues, be in a wheelchair, and just everything today that she told me. And she wants to write a book, but she's kind of all over the place with her writing skills. So it'd probably be better for her to get like a ghostwriter, but she needs money for that. She doesn't have money for that. And, so I told her, I said, after really just kind of like silently listening to her and at the same time kind of praying to God in my own head and saying, like, what can I possibly, tell this woman to try to help her and help her situation and get her where she needs to be. Literally like out of nowhere pops into my head. It's like, GoFundMe. And I'm like, what do you mean GoFundMe? I'm like, and I'm thinking, I'm like literally having this conversation with God in my head. Is like, should I start a GoFundMe for her and tell her stuff and try to get her money and help her out some other way like that? And the answer was like, no, she needs to do it. So basically, God was using me as his vessel today to tell this lady, here's what you need to do. You need to start a GoFundMe page, and you need to use your story, use your testimony, and write it all out on your GoFundMe page, and just ask to have some help. Set your goal at $19,000. That's all you want, for just to be able to pay your van off. Imagine how much easier your life would be if you could get rid of your $680 some a month van payment and at least know that you own that thing and that you could live in that thing. I mean, she's happy living in a van. She's happy that she has a place to stay. You know, this is a person that's homeless. She's completely homeless, but she has this amazing work ethic about her and just this creative vision about her, and she believes in God, and she goes to church, and she doesn't do drugs, she doesn't do alcohol, she's not smoking, she's not what you think of when the regular person thinks of a homeless person. She's a regular person who lives in a van because that's all she can afford to do, which is horrible. She's a good person. She shouldn't have to live like that. When you got these illegal immigrants that are coming in here, living in hotel rooms and getting free food and free cell phones and free everything else from the United States government, and then you got a person like this who's had nothing but the worst life ever, from being abused to having difficulties through her whole childhood, to having difficulties with relationships once she had kids, and just trying to be her best and trying to do her best all the time for everybody else and putting everybody else first except for her. And you know, it's like, I told her to do this GoFundMe page, and I said, you know, like, this is coming from the Spirit. Like, the Spirit and God is telling me to tell you that you need to do this because, you know, if you do this, you have no idea what's going to happen. And she's like, well, I don't want people to feel like I'm taking advantage of them. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you are the person that's homeless. You are the person that has nothing. You are the person that deserves people to come help you. You know, some of these organizations out there are fraudulent, you know, and their CEOs take all the money that comes in from the donations, you know, and you don't necessarily know it. But this, with your story, with your GoFundMe page that you're going to create, that God's telling you to create, that this is going to be the story that changes your life. You're gonna instead of writing your book right now, you're going to write your story in a couple paragraphs on GoFundMe, and people are going to see that and they're going to say, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine living like that. I got to help this lady out. I gotta take care of her somehow. And she's like, but I don't really know anybody. How's anybody gonna find out about the page and stuff like that? And I said, listen to me. I said, don't you worry about that. I said, you just start the GoFundMe page. You put your description in there about who you are, how you came to be where you came to be. Set your number where you want to set it for your goal and what you need. I said, and then send me the link. And I said, I will get on social media. I will share your story. I will ask my other friend Mike, who referred you to me, to share your story. And then we're going to take it from there, and we're going to see what happens. And we're going to see if somebody picks it up. You know, maybe a local news person picks it up, you know, in the area, and wants to do a story about what it's like living in a van for 3 or 4 years. Maybe this is a movie that somebody wants to write in Hollywood about what it's like to be a homeless person, and really, like, seriously, a Netflix documentary series. Maybe there's somebody out there who's a ghostwriter that wants to make a deal with this lady because, you know, you're going to make more money when she sells these books and sells a ton of these books. You know, maybe you'll make a different kind of deal than all this upfront money. You know, there's anything's possible. I told her, I said, what's the worst that's going to happen? If the worst that's going to happen is if you don't do anything, if you don't do it, then you're never going to know. I'm like, so the worst that's going to happen is you take a little bit of your time, you know, a little bit of time, you tell your story to the best of your knowledge, and you tell your testimony to the best of your knowledge, and then you put it out there for the world to see, and nobody donates a penny. Maybe that happens. But see, I'm telling you that this is coming from the Spirit in me. And this idea is coming to you from God, telling me through the Spirit that I need to tell you that this is what you need to do. This is God telling you that you need to do this. This is God telling you this is how you're going to change your life and how it's going to start here. It's going to work this way. I'm like, just, you got to believe me, you know? That's how important this is. Just do it. You're off today, you're in your van, sit down and do your GoFundMe page. And if you don't know how to do a GoFundMe page, go to YouTube, type in how to do a GoFundMe page, and there'll be a video there somewhere about how to do a GoFundMe page, and you can learn how to do it, and then you can just do it, you know? And she was just so appreciative and so thankful, and just literally one of the like nicest people that I've met with a pure heart. Who's been through so much abuse and neglect and financial problems, and for her to still be, sitting there with a smile on her face, it's like God, man, why do you put people through some things? Well, sometimes, people out there who have incredible struggles, incredible pain, incredible stories, sometimes they're the one that get the biggest blessings, and I was trying to explain that to her that, what's the best thing that could happen? The best thing that could happen is your story takes off and it gets put on the news, and then maybe it hits the national news, and then maybe it hits somebody who has a lot of money that doesn't like giving to these other charities because they don't know where their money's going, and they know that their money would go directly to you, and the next thing you know, instead of your $20,000, maybe you give $500,000. And then maybe you can start your daycare that you want to start, your Christian daycare place that you want to start, and your franchise that you want to start up. That's big picture. This lady thinks big too. She's not, and she's older. She's not brand new. She's not young. She could be almost a grandmother's age, but she's still got the drive, and she's still got the work ethic. She was working, 2-3 jobs her whole life. She would work daycare during the day, she'd work McDonald's at night, and then she'd work Taco Bell on the weekends. She worked 7 days a week, and she also just had a McDonald's job on top of her daycare job that she's doing, but apparently she fell or something like that at McDonald's, and they decided that it wasn't good for her to stay there. She's also been discriminated against because she's homeless. People have not hired her because she's homeless. People have literally fired her when they found out that she was homeless. She literally got fired because people found out that she was homeless. Can you imagine the type of person that would do that? How they sleep at night? Here you got somebody that's trying to better themselves, that actually comes to work, is presentable, and is trying to do the best they can to get back on their feet, and you're going to turn around and fire them for that? That's what's wrong with this world. People like that. It's just so amazing to me that that this is the way things go sometimes. But when I get the link, I don't know if I'll share it on the podcast. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put it, if somebody puts a comment in here, because it's, for some reason, it won't let me do a comment until somebody else puts a comment. So somebody put a comment with this video, and then whenever I get the link to her GoFundMe, I'll put it with this video, because I told her I need her to do that. That God's expecting her to do that too, and that's just what the Spirit was telling me to help her. And I told her, I said, and I don't know where this stuff came from either, but I was talking to her, and I said, God's online now. We're in the digital age, so He he is online. And this may be a new way that things are going to be heading as well. You never know. Never know what he has planned upstairs. But it's going to be wild to see as things continue to go with technology, where he goes, who he touches, and how he interacts with people on various platforms and such. But, everybody carries around a cell phone now. Everybody's cell phone has the capability to take pictures and shoot videos, and everybody's cell phone has capabilities to post it on YouTube, or any other platforms that you want to use, and that's where the power is, and then it's sharing, and it's the social part of it is the sharing part of it. It is like, you get a story like this, and she puts her GoFundMe up there. I mean, how can you not help a lady like that? You know, like she came in and she told me she doesn't drink coffee, so I got her a bottle of water. And she's like, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. I'm like, man, you're not taking care of anything. You are homeless. Let me buy you a drink and a sandwich. I'm like, do you want a sandwich? She said, yeah, I think I'd like to get a sandwich. I'm like, get a sandwich. You know, I literally had like $14 in my wallet. That was it. And I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, I might have to charge it if I don't have enough cash. And the cashier's ringing stuff up. I get my coffee, my regular coffee. I get her water, and I get her a sandwich. It was like $12 because this is Starbucks now. Because I wanted to take her someplace nice. I don't want to take her some cheap old coffee place. I want to take her someplace nice. So we went to Starbucks, and so I got her a little sandwich there, and it was like $12. So I pull out my wallet, and I'm like, oh man, I only got 14. I'm like, good, here's 12. So I have $2 left. But it doesn't bother me because I don't eat. I fast during the day, and I don't need any money right now, And I'm going home, and tonight it's Labor Day. I got 4 big New York strip steaks and some broccoli and probably some potatoes and maybe some mushrooms and onions, and we're going to saute all that up out back on my grill. And this lady's going to be living in her van, in a Walmart parking lot. So let that sink in for some of you people who think you got it bad. You could be living in a van with your own little camper toilet in there, because she said, I got to go to the bathroom like 6 times a night, she's like, I can't just be walking into stores and stuff every time I got to go to the bathroom. And she she's got it down. She parks, she makes friends with the security officers in the parking lot so they know what she's doing, and they watch out for her most of the time. But just imagine having to live your life like that, where you try to better yourself and you're homeless, and you get a job and you get fired because the people find out you're homeless. I mean, like, how depressing and how just defeated would you feel? I mean, would you feel like killing yourself? After everything else you've been through your whole life, too? I mean, and that's where this woman was, until we started talking, we started texting each other, and, started telling her, look, you can't, God doesn't want you to do that. You believe in God. God doesn't want you to hurt yourself. God wants you to clean yourself up. God wants you to, there's a purpose why you're here. You're going to get another job. I just know it. The next week, the week after we talked, she wound up getting another job, made more money than she's ever made in her entire life. So, God's working in her life. He's working slowly, and that's the thing. We got to be patient with God. You never know when he's going to come through, when he's going to give you your big breakthrough, when he's going to give you your abundance. All you can do is just keep doing the right thing and being a good person, and just helping people out. That's all you can do, is just Live your life as if you were Jesus, and try to treat everybody the way Jesus would treat them. Um, and that's really it. It's just respecting everyone, and being kind, being nice, being fair. And she told me. She also told me this. She shared me this story. She said she almost died in her van, and I'm gonna get her on this podcast. That's gonna be a goal of mine, is to get her on here. But I don't want her on here until her story's over, and I don't think her story's gonna be over until she gets this GoFundMe money, or it explodes and she opens up her own daycare and has her own house, and we get her on here then. Because I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be one of those kind of stories where God just takes her from nothing to whoa, because this woman, if anybody deserves it, it's her. But she's also a diabetic, and she almost died in her car because she was taking her medication and she was trying to stretch it out, because she couldn't afford her medication. So she was trying to take 3 months of medication and try to turn it into 6 months of medication, but you really can't do that. So she literally like blacked out. She said everything went completely white, bright light. And she said it was the absolute most peaceful, serene, blissful feeling that she has ever felt in her entire life, was when everything went white. And she said, I didn't want to leave it. I never wanted to leave the feeling that I had when I had that feeling. And I told her, I said that was heaven. It had to be heaven. And I told her how I live my life, and I told her how I live here on earth, as it is in heaven. You get the feelings of heaven. That's what we get to experience here on earth, is you get to experience feelings of heaven. If you serve the Lord and you live for Jesus, and you live like Him, and you surrender yourself to the Lord, you can live like you're in heaven, and you can live in complete pure peace with joy and happiness like you've never felt in your entire life. And it's exciting every day. It's new every day, every minute, every moment. It is just something that you can't describe. And until you feel that, the difference between this heaven and the heaven up there is, down here we got to deal with the bullshit. Sorry, but we got to deal with the demons. We got to deal with the evil spirits. We got to deal with the devil. We got to deal with all that and all these other people out there who don't believe in God. That's what we got to deal with down here. Up there, um, it's going to be nothing but one big party. Nothing but one big party where everybody believes, everybody just rejoices and is glad every day, every night, all night. Everybody sleeps peacefully. You probably don't even have doors on your houses up there, because people can just come in and come out, because that's just the way it is. Mi casa, su casa, everybody shares everything. Everybody's kind with each other. That's how God wants it to be down here on earth too. He wants it to be on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, devil, but deliver us from evil, devil. Right? That's how that prayer goes. On earth as it is in heaven. That's what the goal is. That's why He sent Jesus back here, to teach us that we could all live on earth as it is in heaven. Think about that. Now I got to think about what am I going to title this video because I don't really know. But somebody comment on this, anybody, and give it a thumbs up, give it a share, do whatever. But I need at least one comment so I can reply to that once I get this GoFundMe link, and then I can start spreading the word about this lady, and you can read her story and see that this is a real person who is literally living in a van in a Walmart parking lot, who's running a daycare facility. Yeah. So anyway, if you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up, give me a share, give me a like. God bless everyone. Thank you for watching, and take care of yourself and each other. And I love all of you. Bye.